It's gonna get better. Never stay the same. It's gonna get better. It's gonna get better.
Welcome to the Ericka James Show, where we are all about life on purpose. I am committed to seeing you live a life that thrives, a life that's extraordinary, a life that has you bringing forth your purpose and building something extraordinary. Today's show is all about how to overcome. And I just really want to have a conversation with you because this one hit near and dear to me because of all of my story I haven't told that I've had to overcome. No matter what you are going through, I want you to know that you can do this. No matter how heavy things might feel now, no matter what you're seeing moving in your life, going, whether things are increasing or decreasing, expanding or looking like they're not getting bigger, whether that's your finances right now, whether that is your relationship, whether your business is a little on shaky ground right now, I want you to know that you can overcome. I want you to have practical tools, tips, and techniques that you can take away and implement right away to see your life change, expand, or increase. I actually call it up-leveling. But I want to talk about overcoming. I want to talk about tenacity and persistence. I want to remind you that no matter where you are in your life process, that you have purpose. I even want to submit to you that you were created for such a time as this. It's not in the times that things are going great. It's in the times of challenge and trial that we grow, that we're tested, that we're really those diamonds in the rough. And without that pressure, we cannot become who we were created to be. I love the saying that pressure is a privilege. So if you're feeling pressure, it's because you're called to more. If you're feeling pressure right now, not knowing what's next, what's going to happen, I want you to settle in because there's one thing that's unchanging. It's your ability to find your center, to get back to who you are, and then take those moments of quietness, those introspective moments, and make new decisions. I have had to overcome. We don't even have enough time in this show for me to tell you everything I've overcome. Growing up being bullied and getting stones and rocks thrown at me on a daily basis. And even in the midst of that bullying, I knew there was something greater within me. I had a family that reminded me of that, but all of us don't have that. In the midst of feeling like, will I ever have a date? Will anybody like me? Will I ever be good enough? Having to overcome those inner lies that we begin to deduce based on how people treat us or how things may be going with the circumstances in our lives. Overcoming years of raising my daughter on my own. Part of my story I don't often tell is that when I was 3 months pregnant, her father married another woman. I remember that devastation. I remember thinking, this is worse than my worst nightmare. I never even had a nightmare about it. It surpassed my worst nightmare. And I remember thinking, I'm on track in my life, so I thought. And getting what felt like derailed and figuring out how in the world am I going to get back on track. And I did what so many mothers do. I went to the work world, knowing I was an entrepreneur, knowing that I had more to come in me that I had not yet seen. I remember going paycheck to paycheck, suffocating. I was born for more. I was built for more than this. How do I begin to get back on track? How do I overcome? It breaks my heart to learn that only 8% of people actually achieve their dreams. That means 92% of us don't know how to overcome. That means 92% of us get derailed by challenges in our lives, by things that don't go our way, and then we never find our way back. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's not like things in your life aren't going to go wrong sometimes, or there's not going to be challenge. That's what life is about. But it is about undergirding yourself, digging in, knowing that you were created for excellence. So here on this show, I want to remind you how extraordinary you are. I want to remind you that no matter what is happening in your life, focus forward. Because we have work to do. I envision a world of people on purpose. I envision a world that we can tap in to who we were created to be and see transformation in every area of our lives. We're going to have to roll up our sleeves. It's going to take some work. But I'm right here with you in the journey. You ready? Stick with me, because next I have a guest that has overcome what I would consider impossible circumstances to build a successful business, and the best is yet to come in this show and in her life. We'll be right back. Welcome back. I'm so glad you stayed with me. We are talking today about how to overcome. And I shared some of my story, but I want to get someone else's story, because I want you to know that no matter what you're going through right now, right this moment, that there is another side to it. If you hold on, if you press in, you can overcome. And we have a living testament to that truth here with us today, Miss Tanya Peace, who I don't know your full story, but I know when I asked, who am I supposed to have on this show? She was the first guest that came to mind. So I'm so glad that your busy schedule worked out for you to be here today. And of all the show topics I could have, it's about how to overcome today.
Yes.
And so share with us some of the things that you have overcome. And I want the tough ones, not the little light ones. We might end up crying, but it's okay. We're going for it.
I was going to keep it light. I was going to keep it light.
Yeah, I want to know, for someone who's out there going, there's a lot going on in my life.
Right.
And I can't see to the other side of it.
Okay.
These circumstances are piling up. You got it.
Well, we're going to
talk to me about what you've been through.
We're going to go deep. Okay.
And you don't look like what you've been through, so it's okay.
Thank
as
you.
They say.
Thank you. Thank you.
Go right ahead.
All right. So, growing up, and we're going to go deep, okay? Growing up, I grew up in, this is tough, okay? I grew up in not favorable conditions. I grew up in a drug house. This is hard. I don't share this story, but I grew up in a home that they sold drugs. We were always protected. It wasn't, like people sitting around doing the drugs, but that's what it was. It is what it is. It was what it was. I overcame that. We always had outside avenues, to play sports, to be in the chorus, to do other things. I overcame that. I educated myself. I knew that there was a better life young. My grandma would always tell me, like, you've been here before. You know so much. And I just overcame. I stayed out of the way of that, and they were always good parents, good grandparents. They didn't like just have it there, but I knew what it was because no one went to work. And through life, I just went over that, just being in that situation, people knowing who you are, knowing who your family is, and trying to be different from the perception of what people think that type of family is. I went through that. I got educated. I graduated. I always kept myself busy, trying to be a better person. Went through life, and I've always been with my mom, and she passed away. Sorry.
I'm here. Don't be sorry. This is real. People are going through this, Tanya. It's okay.
She was everything to me, and she passed away of breast cancer. And so from there, I changed my life to know that I wanted something better. I wanted to be healthy because I didn't want to pass away from something that I can prevent from myself. Um, and not to say that you won't get breast cancer if you eat right and exercise, but I knew that if I was intentional about taking care of myself, let me get my tissue, I'm
Yes,
sorry,
it's okay.
I could do better. And from there,
Yeah.
I educated myself on what I needed to do to be better, to be healthier, to be stronger, to raise my kids because she was there to help me, as well as their father. He was always present. So, you know, I went to school, I got my degrees in health education and public health, and I just learned, I taught myself
Whew. Wow.
um, how to overcome.
Yeah.
You know, what do you have to do to be a better person?
Yeah.
How do you have to act? What do you have to eat? You know, who do you have to be around?
Yeah.
You know, all those things, you know. And
And-
even within that of my mom passing away, I was not in a great relationship. So I had to learn how to end that relationship on a good note,
Yes.
dealing with the person that I was dealing with, you know, and not, you know, it wasn't abusive or anything, but it was verbally abusive, you know, but I wasn't scared I was going to be hurt, you know, but I was already hurt from everything else.
Yeah.
And I wasn't a good person to be in a relationship with. You know,
I understand. There's sometimes
okay.
it's like we need to be in a relationship with ourselves.
Right,
Not
if
trying to make something work with
right,
somebody
if you don't
else.
know who you are, you can't be that for someone else.
That's good.
You
That's so
know,
good.
you
So,
can't.
so I got to jump in here. What I'm hearing is you didn't have any role models.
Mm-mm.
You had to literally create. How did you do that? When people don't have role models, how did you create something out of nothing to get a concept of who you wanted to be?
Um, I just looked around at the people that I had in my circle.
Yeah.
What accomplishments did they have? But I thought, who do you want to be?
Mm.
And that's a lot. That's a lot of work. And
Yes.
it's a lot of work, like writing it down, knowing who you want to be. And you don't know who you want to be like right now. You know, even today, I still want to be something, you know, like bigger than what I am now, you know, but I had to learn that. Like, what do I want? What type of relationship do I want with myself, want
Yeah.
with my kids, things like that. I went to school. So in learning, you learn like who you want to be, how do you want to act, what kind of circles you want to be in, you know, all those things.
Yes.
So that's how I just educated myself looking at people, how they act,
That's
you
so
know,
good.
how good
Yeah.
people act.
Yeah.
I don't like pretentious, you know, like, oh, she looks that way, but then when she goes home, she's someone
Right.
different.
Different story. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, I just knew that I wanted to be the best person I could be, but I also wanted to be the best person I could be for other people
Oh, that's so good.
all the time. You know, like
Yeah.
if they see me, what do they see?
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
like I said, I don't tell my story often, but um, I can look at someone else and discern what, you know, like they might be dealing with and just go from there, you know, just talking to them and never tell them like, I did this so you can do it too, you know, because everybody has to do their own thing, you
That's
know.
so
So
good.
I just overcame the
Wow.
death of my mom, a bad relationship, being raised in a drug home,
Single motherhood, because you,
single, yeah,
yes,
single
come on
mother.
now,
It's a lot of
that's
things, yeah.
real.
And just
Yeah.
I had my health was deterred. I had a blood clot in my leg. You know, I had to sit down and think about how you're going to heal from this.
Yes.
Because when the doctor tells you, we almost lost you, you know, you have to know
Yeah.
what your life
Yeah.
is, you know, so.
Whew, girl, I love it. I love it. And not that you've been through the stuff,
Yeah.
but that you're on the other side of it.
Yes.
And we're still our works in progress. But
Right.
it's so important for people to hear that even with no role models, you can still decide
Yeah.
who you're
it
not going to be
be
and who you are going to be.
yes.
And then the other thing I hear is do the work.
The work
Do the research,
is
find
so
out
important.
what are your questions if you don't know.
The work is
Ah,
so
oh, that's
important,
so
and it's an
good.
ongoing work. I walk around with a notepad
Wow. Just a student of life.
of
Let's do
life,
it.
yeah, to note like that didn't work. What will?
That's so good.
You know, and you don't have the answers. Okay, you don't have the answers. You have to pray.
Yeah.
You have to find the answers. There are resources. They give them to you all the time, and don't think like, oh, that's not going to work for me because of whatever it is you're going through. Try it, and it'll
Yeah.
work. You
Yeah.
know?
Or be like, "Oh, I don't Google.
Right.
Like, you know, like, we don't even need encyclopedias. Just Google it.
Right.
You know, I love
Google.
it.
I'm
Well,
riding in the car hitting Google
like whatever. Yeah.
and say what it is I need to say. Okay. Like
So get the information. There's no
Right.
excuse. But there's something that you have built, and it's not just about overcoming, but you've taken that power and that presence that, you know, really from God, I hear you saying,
Mhm.
and you're building something.
Yes.
And so here are your candles.
Yes.
Tell me where these were birthed inside you. Like, tell me the process of why you did this.
Okay, because it's a
Yeah.
vibe. Okay,
Okay.
like it's a whole
Yes.
vibe. It's a whole
One of
mood.
the things I didn't say when I introduced you, I should have. Scintologist.
Okay.
I said you are.
Yes.
You have the gift of scintology. Of real. I
Yes.
mean, it's amazing. But yeah,
'Cause
tell us
scent-
about this.
Okay, let me tell you about scent.
Okay.
Scent is everything to us. It reminds us of everything. A person you met, a food you ate, a memory of everything. Something in that moment, in that scent, reminded you of something.
Yeah.
A smell, whether it's a good scent, bad scent, it's something about the scent that brings the memory back. And we've always been a family that burnt incense, candles, oils, you know, whether they're on your
Yes.
body, whatever. So that's how I came up with the scents. But I've always burned other candles, you know, burn the candles, get the
Yes, yes.
incense and everything. So I went to an event and we made candles. And it was so like, duh, you know, like that's all you do to make the candle. But it wasn't like an all you do. It is a process, but it was like, oh, you can make the scent.
Yeah.
Because she didn't have the scent that I wanted that made me think of anything that I wanted to have. But I was like, I'll go with this. It smells nice. Thank you very much. And because she's a candle maker.
Okay.
So I went home and I just researched like how to make a candle, you know, and I was like, oh, and you can get a kit and you can do all these great things and you can make a candle from anything. You don't have to get a kit. You can just get your wax, get your scents, put it together, da-da.
You make it sound so easy. I've seen a little video you putting candles together. You are in your laboratory. It's deep. Like
Yeah, it's deep.
This is a jar of love.
Yes, it
that
is.
someone can
I'm very
light.
intentional about the candle, but the candles are intent. They, I know when I light a candle, it's always a reason.
Yeah.
You know, it's always a reason. Everyone lights a candle for a birthday, anniversary, weddings, everything. A candle is lit, you know, and it symbolizes light. Even in death, it's a light, you know, to bring you to the other side, for we to know the other side, that that's
Yeah.
where you're going. It's always a reason why you're lighting a candle.
Yes.
To set the mood, to set the tone, to set the intent. What do I want for this moment? So when I started making candles and I started smelling the scents and I use essential oils, I started putting them together intentionally
Yes.
for other people.
That
And
is
I was
so
just
good.
telling someone else that I burn the candles in my home, but I don't like to burn them for myself because I want them to be for other people.
And
That-
it's called Peace and Light.
Light, yes.
Peace and Light, which
Candle
happens to be your
Company.
last name.
Yes.
And for me, I just want to acknowledge you
Mhm.
because this represents overcoming.
Y-
You know,
it
this
do-
represents
yes.
not quitting. This, when you have something that you can build and put into the world and take, it's like a bottle of overcoming. Like, light this
Right.
and remember that
But
there can be more.
because
It's so
I'm in
powerful.
I know that you can overcome because it's so much that I overcame. And I know that it's possible. I know it is possible.
Yes.
And when I make the candles, I'm very intentional. I sit down for days and think of what I want that candle to be
Yeah.
for someone else.
Woo.
But it's also for me because I have to think about it, you know, like, oh,
Yeah.
what would I like to do with this candle? You know, like, oh, yeah, set the mood. You know, you could do this, you could do that, you know. So I'm very
Wow.
intentional on the candles. So I have like candles like meditation, I have good vibes, I have Zen, I have so many.
And
It's just,
you are a scent making machine.
yes.
And it wasn't to come give your candle company a plug,
Right.
which is, we're doing that by all means, but it was about what this represented. That I wanted to remind anybody out there that no matter what you've been through, I didn't know that part of your story.
Yeah,
I
you
didn't
did
know you.
not.
I did
'Cause I
not
don't.
know
Then I
that.
said I
I
don't
was like, oh
share.
my God, I'm about to cry too. But it's about, Tanya, you took that and you said, I don't have to be my past.
I
I'm going to
don't. Yeah.
create something
No one
great
has to be
that's
their
going to change
past.
every area of my life and be something for generations.
Right.
And so thank you for coming. Thank
Thank
you for sharing
you
your
for
incredible
having
candles.
me here.
Definitely visit the website because you can grab your own peace and light candle and get the overcoming vibe. You got to be doing just for us called overcoming. Get
Yes.
the vibe
Oh
going in your
gosh.
house so you can relax, refuel, be centered, and let that scent take you to someplace to remind you that you are extraordinary and there is more for you than what you see in your life today. So stay with us because the next segment is all live prophetic. I don't know what's going to come out of my mouth. I don't know the questions Tanya has for me, but we're going to go there. So stick with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back. I love this portion of the show. Tanya got to share some of her story, have an incredible guest here, the founder and proprietor and empire builder of Peace and Light Candle Company, Miss Tanya Peace. This is the part of the show, though, that's all about you, Tanya, because I want to just open up my prophetic gift and answer questions you might have. I don't know what questions Tanya's bringing, so I'm just going to go through my process. So I actually
Okay.
write the questions and I'm already getting a couple things for you. So,
Will I have a relationship, a loving relationship that I can trust in, and or get married, those type of things. You know, will
okay.
I have a relationship? Because I've always focused on other people and making other people happy and things like that, or will I bring that into my own life?
Yeah. Okay.
Um,
That's the only one? That's it.
um,
You're like, that is the one,
that's
huh?
and my business and how, you know, what is my growing potential? Like um how big am I? You know, how
Yeah.
big am I? Am I in the right vein? Am I doing what I am supposed to be doing?
Okay.
Am I delivering the right message
Mm.
to my audience? Um, those things.
Okay.
Because what I usually ask for is always for other people.
Yes.
I don't ask for things for myself.
Okay.
Okay.
I got it. You ready? I have some answers for you too.
Okay.
They started, but it's interesting for me. It works like a faucet, and I can turn it off. But then when I say, "Okay, Lord, speak," it's like I start hearing. So you were talking, and I'm getting this. It's like a stream happening. For some reason, on this side of my head, I always hear that inner voice.
Okay.
So the first thing that came to mind was I saw a picture of a hill and a boulder. And for these years of your life, you've been pushing that boulder uphill, uphill, uphill. Oh, back down a couple steps, uphill, uphill. The Lord was showing me that you are at the pinnacle and it is about to be an ease. And so all of the pushing and making it happen, it's about to shift. The other thing that is about to shift is this side of the mountain. You know that old song, I'm climbing up, like even up the rough side?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's been the rough side of the mountain.
Absolutely.
And so now you're coming to the other side of the mountain. And the Lord is showing me green, lush, ease, and this boulder that you've had to push up. It's created character. It's touched so many lives, but it's also a season change. And not in a selfish way, but it is all about you. And what your dreams and your desires are. You have sacrificed so much. So it's going to be a new learning for you. You know, we keep hearing the word pivot in this time. It's a pivot. Oh, what is that? What was that? Go ahead. Yeah.
I hear that a lot.
Yes.
I hear that a lot. Pivoting.
Yes.
You got to make the pivot.
It's a pivot.
So during this COVID, you know, you got to change. And I've been working to make some changes on a lot of things.
And remember the pivot, though.
Yeah.
You keep one foot planted. So this foot that you built, that has been your strength, that has been that tenacity, that has been that persistence, the Lord is saying he can trust you. And he can't trust everybody because he can't trust everybody that they're going to do what he says because we haven't built the capacity yet. Your capacity is solid. I hear him literally saying, well done. But it's a different season now. It's a season about you. And he was showing me this is a season of freedom for you,
Mm.
of building for you. I'm literally seeing shackles come off,
Mhm.
other people's expectations, other things people need, just coming off of you. And he highlighted you for this show
Mm.
because he said he's taken you out of hiding.
Mm. And
One of the, yeah,
true indeed.
yes,
True indeed.
one of the words I got at the beginning of the year, and starting last year was this. He's identified hidden masters that he's been pouring mastery in, and in this season they will be highlighted, and he will bring them out to the world. But you will be ready. That climbing up the rough side is what gets you ready. And he says that you've been keeping your gifts and your talents and everything here in your bosom, but now is the time to let it rip. And
Mm.
it's no longer for you. It's about you, but it's for others on another level.
Mhm.
And I'm going to go to business first. And he said that your growing potential, you asked, you are supposed to have your candles in almost every store in the world.
Mm.
This is worldwide. He said he's had you infuse things in here. This is not just a product.
Right.
He's infused, like your spirit, your soul, like
Yeah,
you have
absolutely.
prayed over these,
Like,
breathed over these, and
I
he needs
have.
that light to get out in the world. So I heard him say clearly, the hobby time is over.
Mm.
And it's about you get to loose your business genius. And we already know you have a gift of finding out whatever you don't know.
Mhm.
Apply that same gift and get your product out
Mm.
because it's different than other things because it has that rough side up it, but it is up of the mountain in it. But it's also going to remind you and remind people that, wait a minute, I still can create something.
Right.
And he said that you have
From nothing,
longed
honey.
for financial freedom. He's saying it has been your clarion call because you never wanted to have to do something because you didn't have
Ooh.
money.
Mm.
And you have done so much and sacrificed. And he said you even suffered abuse at your job because you have wanted to
Girl.
do the financial free. It's okay. Oh, yes, you have, and having to go through that, he said that you are ready. He's saying you're a well-ready soldier. And so this is the season for you to pursue financial freedom, and this is the product for you to do it with. And it's time. And he's saying your time is winding down at your job because he wants you to wind this up. And it's time to take it, he's saying, out of a best kept secret. It can no longer be the best kept secret. It's about to be something that gets out. He says you've been studying marketing, you've been studying it, you've been playing with it. He said stop playing, and it's time to get it out. You were assigned to get this around the world.
Okay.
And he also is showing me there's going to be a lot of other products that are going to come also with that same spiritual infusion to it. But there's a lot of things. Do you have a journal of, I'm seeing a book of ideas. Yeah. So he's showing me a book of ideas that you have been collecting, that you have, that you've been like, oh, let me research, and you put it in the book. Let me read it. But he said, get the book out because he wants you to go back. He said, back to the beginning of the book and bring that stuff out. It is time. And the answer, now there's this unspoken rule for the prophetic. Don't prophesy relationships and babies.
Right.
But I'm about to prophesy a relationship.
Okay.
Yes, there is a king for you.
Okay.
He is on this path though.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, stop holding back and stop hiding. When you come out of hiding, he will recognize you.
Mm.
You will not have to look to your left or right. That's one of the words the Lord
I'm
brought
a
me. You don't have to
hider.
look to the left or the right. All you have to do is be obedient because this is going to get you out in the world.
Mm.
He's not going to come to the door. You got to get out of the
Right.
door. And so this is going to get you out of the door and you will be recognized.
Wow.
It has taken so long though, because he had a rough side to come up also.
Mm.
And you have gifts of seeing things in people that other people don't see. So by all means, God has a partner for you. And yes, you are to be married. God just said he didn't give you all that love for nothing. That's what he said. I didn't give her all that love for nothing. So yes, absolutely. So I just broke the
Wow.
prophet rule. Yes, I'm prophesying a relationship, but
Wow.
absolutely marriage is in your future.
Wow.
So God said to focus here and he will take care of that.
Wow.
He will take care of that.
Thank you.
So does that resonate?
Honey,
Woo!
you don't even know.
Well, I'm
Like,
so glad. Woo!
you don't even know.
Oh.
Like, that was everything to me.
Thank you for being here. I'm
Thank you
so
so
glad
much,
to share
Ericka.
I know we're supposed to be all
Oh,
social
no.
distance. I don't even care right now.
Oh my
But
God.
I just thank
We
you for being
sanitized.
here. Yeah, we washed our hands, we sanitized. And thank you for just coming and
Yes.
not knowing, because I don't know what questions you're going to ask. You don't know what's going to
Yeah,
come out of my
I
mouth.
didn't.
But thank you for being a ready writer. And I just wish you the absolute best in
Okay.
everything you do. And know
This
that
has
your
been
success is preordained. And the financial wealth that you have longed for, it's in here.
Thank
It's locked in here.
Oh,
Just
wow.
unlock it.
Just
So,
that was
yes.
amazing.
Oh, thank
That
you.
was amazing because it all resonated to be true.
Woo!
To be true. Like
Yes. I love it. That is the
everything,
power.
down to the notebooks. I walk with a notebook. Okay. I
Wow.
walk with a notebook.
Yes.
Everybody's like, why is your purse so heavy? Because I have notebooks. Like,
Wow.
but I do. I walk with everything I think, I write it down.
Yes. Yes.
I do.
And you already know this. I'm just confirming those notebooks are supposed to become books. Yeah. So they are. This is a season. It's not just your process. People need what's in you. So he's told you that before, he said. And you're like, oh,
Yeah.
like,
What
yeah,
book?
what book? I don't have a book. I just have a notebook. So
Right.
yeah, that's definitely part of it. So I'm excited for what's to come.
Me
But
too.
this is the power of the prophetic, to just get confirmation of your purpose. Know that you were created to fulfill a purpose on this earth. I am here with you to walk this out every step of the way. And I want to remind you that you are extraordinary. There is amazingness in you that the world needs. So thank you for sticking with me, and I look forward to seeing you soon on the next episode.